take it. And the cup is more than half full now. If you love him, you live it right. So give her your love and the cup will full. Your sky could never gray. Doubt can wipe a smile away. Sun, it shines up above. From out the darkness comes your love. Into the world it brings some light.
But I think faith is important. It's your safe place. It saves you in trying moments. And I think that, you learn to go toward the fear when you're diagnosed. When you hear those words, I mean, hey, what is it? It's fear. It's fear of the unknown. And somebody always said, well, it was my mom, go out on a limb. That's where the fruit is. So you go toward the fear. I've always told my children, each day, do something that you're afraid of or that you don't want to do, because it makes you stronger in the end.
I am a breast cancer survivor, a blood cancer survivor.
I'm Dr. Holly Lucille, a naturopathic doctor.
I am a mom of a teenager, basset hound owner, military wife.
My name is Dr. Deanna Atai, and I'm a breast surgeon.
I am a cancer survivor who is looking for answers just like you.
I'm Deborah Tripathi. I'm a medical oncologist.
What works, what doesn't? Welcome to Thrive with Namrata. My wonderful, dear, beautiful, gorgeous, stunning friend Jacqueline Smith just talked about replacing fear with faith after she went through cancer treatments. And I know she believes that it helped her immensely. Fear is just a partner in crime. You can't get away from fear once you've been diagnosed with cancer. There's degrees to it, I'm sure. I am the biggest chicken in the world, but what are you gonna do? So here's the question. First, is there any merit to being not scared? And second, if there is, how do you replace fear with faith? As usual, my wonderful guest panel, Holly, Deanna, and Debu, and I'm going to start with Holly.
Yeah, I think this is such a great question, and I think it's so important that everybody is seen as an individual. And I think whether it's fear or faith, having gentleness and tolerance for what you're feeling is extremely important. I mean, to this day, I don't think I have cancer. I've never been diagnosed with cancer. I don't know. There's so much connotation around it. I believe, though, that my first instinct would be actually to be a little bit fearful. And I think just accepting that and then turning that, though, with more knowledge, you get powerful, and then turning that into faith. I talk a lot with my patients around compliance versus adherence and the difference. Compliance is like doing what your doctor told you to do. Adherence in a program or a treatment procedure is the faithful attachment to something that you own. And I think when people own their faith and own what they're doing, it's more powerful for them and they feel more empowered.
Thank you. What do you think, Deanna?
First of all, I think, like Holly said, it's important for patients to recognize that fear is normal. When you've been diagnosed with cancer, you are thinking, is my life about to end? Who wouldn't be afraid? One way to get over that is by having faith, but part of what gets you that faith is finding the right treatment team and also being honest with yourself. So the ability to be honest with yourself, your friends and family, also to be honest with your physicians and have those open lines of communication. You come up with a treatment plan, everybody's talking to each other, everybody's on the same page. That helps move past the fear. Education, knowledge is power. It helps move past the fear and the faith that things will hopefully turn out, but even if they don't, you've got a treatment team and a support team around you to help get you through it.
That's great. Debu, do you concur?
Fear and stress is a part of any reaction to a terrible event, including a diagnosis of cancer. It's a natural reaction, but over time, fear can be replaced by hope and inspiration and faith, and that is the natural progression, but not everybody moves through that. Some people get stuck in that phase. And we know that fear and stress does increase blood pressure, it increases catecholamines and adrenaline, And it could set the stage for a worse clinical outcome. Now, whether that actually translates into living less or not responding to treatment as well, we really don't know. But I can tell you that the quality of life of people that are able to get through that fear stage and replace it with faith and hope is clearly better. And that there is scientific evidence for that resolution of fear and stress is associated with a better quality of life, and that alone is important.
So here's something interesting for you guys. When I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I was sort of one of those people, Debbie, as you mentioned, stuck in that place of fear. I didn't go a single day without every single ache, every single whatever, and thinking, oh no, it's the cancer, it's the cancer. And then the worst happened, right? I got diagnosed with cancer, but not a relapse of breast cancer. It was a completely different primary cancer. I think that and I am, by the way, not stuck in that place of fear anymore. And I think I want to get your thoughts on this, but one of the things that really helped me, and I am happy to say this on screen because that is what the show is about, to help all of you around the world. And I'm not condoning this. I'd like to get the experts' opinions on this. But one of the things that really helped me, I remember going to one of the doctors and he said, why aren't you taking something for your depression, for your anxiety? And I said, oh, I don't want to take drugs. And he said, honey, we're pumping you with drugs. A little more drugs is not going to matter. And I did. I started taking some anti-anxiety drugs. I started taking something to help me sleep. But for now, I'm just curious to know your thoughts on when patients come to you. Do you see that a lot? They don't want to take those drugs because they don't want to take drugs. And what is the merit of actually taking some of those drugs in making the quality of life better?
Absolutely. I think there is a place for everything. And I think in times like that where anxiety is high, depression is suspect, that there are good pharmacological agents that are appropriate to help increase the quality of life and outcome. And I want to say one thing about fear and faith. I think faith is interesting. People say, oh, hey, have faith. Just have faith, you're going to get through this. But you have to earn faith in your life, right? And I think anybody that's been diagnosed, if they could just remember a hard situation, they have earned faith. You look back at your life and you see where your troubles and tribulations and perhaps bad things that have happened have actually led to the journey of where they are now. So that faith is there if you can just remember. People earn faith throughout their lives.
That's such a great point.
To the point of using pharmaceuticals, sleep is so critically important. And whether you've been diagnosed with cancer or just you're living your life, we don't put enough stock in the importance of sleep in this country anymore. Everybody's just always working and pushing and a couple cups of coffee to get you going, but sleep is when the body repairs its damage. And we are pumping full of chemicals, and there are real chemical imbalances that take place that will interfere with sleep, that will promote depression. And while it's, a lot of patients say, well, I just want to work through it. You can't always just work through it on your own. And I would agree, in certain patients, using a medication to help with sleep temporarily, anxiety and fear can paralyze you. And then you can't move forward if you're paralyzed. So using those medications when appropriate can certainly help in the overall recovery and quality of life.
The body has a natural ability to center itself both emotionally and physically in many cases, but not all the time. Sometimes it does need help, and this is where a pharmacologic approach can help. Now, pharmacologic approaches are double-edged swords. They can help with emotional state, but they have side effects of their own. And many times they're only needed on a temporary basis. So my general approach is to try to center the body naturally, and this is where I count a lot on colleagues in naturopathy, social workers, physical therapists. These are great ways to, in a natural way, get the body to center itself. And then secondarily, if there's still some need for intervention, then maybe consider one of the pharmacologic interventions and really watch the patient closely to see if they're having the expected result. These drugs don't work for everybody. Sometimes they cause more harm than good, and you need to stop it. And sometimes they really help, but only need to be used for a while. So I think that's probably a more measured way to approach this.
What I loved about what Dr. Tripathi said was, but there's other ways to do this. There's other mediums of centering yourself. So we will be addressing some of those, such as meditation and other things, in another episode. But for today, adios.